o'clock on the East Coast. This is Dick, WB2JPQ, along with Vicky, KEBKY, Scott, W2BLP, and Roger, KO4QMM. We'll be doing this week's TechNet number 637 on September 2nd already. Fall is here. As always, we'll see if our team members have any reports tonight. And I'll take a look for silent keys while we're doing that. Joe is here, KD2FTB, with the celebrity of the week as usual. Thank you, Joe, for coming. Joe comes in a couple minutes before 8 into the Zoom room, and I don't ever have a chance to say hello to him. Then we'll see who we have that's new to this net. We like to get our new users to this net up at the top of the net so they don't have to wait. Stations with questions. As I always say, the meat and potato of this net is amateur radio related questions. After we get down there, we have decided after last week's polling that we are no longer going to take call districts. We're going to go with text and video. So you can get on the text line. I put a blurb on Facebook, and I actually mentioned it on the Morning Brew, and no one texted in early. But you certainly can text in at 716-317-9050. Or if you're on a computer and want to send it in via email, it's text@ecr.radio. Text@ecr.radio from email. Just put your call sign and your call sign only in the, I guess you can put it in the subject field and in the body. It doesn't matter where it is. But we have a limit on our text check-ins of 100 per day. So if we get 60 check-ins on the Morning Brew, and we get 45 tonight, which we will, we're over the 100. So you might not get a reply. So if you don't get a reply, don't worry about it. You will for a while, but if you're near the end of the text check-ins, you might not get a reply. Don't worry about it. We're still getting it. And please, only text in once. I know last week was the first week we did it this way, using the text line as well. We had people texting in 2 and 3 times. And if you text in, you're not called in on the radio. So if you text, you're in via the text. If you're on the radio and we get you, you're via the radio. So that's how we're going to work it tonight, and probably for our future nets. That was what our poll showed last week. This is pretty much the way the net ran for many, many, many years before the text line. We never did call districts. We started to get so many in some districts is why we went to the call district. So we're really back to where we started 12 and a half years ago. When we get to, and I'm sure Scott's going to explain it as well when it gets to his turn and Roger's turn, but when we get after the stations with questions, Roger's, after Vicky's going to have a list of the text check-ins. She's going to post 10 text check-ins. Roger will work that list of the 10 text check-ins. Then Roger will take 10 radio check-ins, and then back to Roger, so forth and so on, and repeat. If we don't have 10, maybe it'll be 5 or 3 or whatever. We're going to alternate between the radio and the text check-ins between the 2 net controllers. Oh, let's see if any of our team members have anything that they would like to report this evening. This is Dick, WB2JPQ. VE3BZ. Well, good evening to Victoria Harbour, Ontario, Canada. Good evening, Kevin.
Well, good evening, Dick, and everyone on the net. Kevin here with tonight's swap and shop portion of the net. I only have one item tonight, and that's from Charles, KC6UFM. In Guatai, California, is selling a SEMO Solus LTE hotspot. No SIM card required. Works with most US LTE carriers. Service plans start at $6 per month. Includes USB-C rechargeable internal battery. Supports both 2.4 and 5 gig Wi-Fi. It is very small, will fit inside your shirt pocket, use only twice, and is no longer needed. Works great with mobile or portable nodes when you don't want to use your cell phone's data. And the asking price is $40, and that includes shipping within the lower 48, and PayPal only, please. And to get a hold of Charles, you can email him at kc6ufm@gmail.com. And that's the only thing I have this week. If you have anything for sale, trade, or want, just go to eastcoastreflector.com, click on Contact ECR, and then SwapNet submissions. Or just email me at ve3bz@rogers.com. Okay, I don't know if there's a question tonight, but back to you, Dick, ve3bz.
There is a question. I don't know why you didn't read my mind. As soon as I turned it over to you, I realized I didn't ask you. Have you ever operated from a campground? Is our question tonight, with the summer winding down, and a lot of people are still camping, and a lot of people camp this summer. A lot of people are working POTA and so forth. This is a question that can be answered by any class of license, whether it be HF or VHF, UHF, or whatever. So our question tonight for everybody: have you ever operated from a campground, Kevin?
Well, that's a great question, and yes, I have. I wasn't camping, but I've done one POTA activation and tagged along on a couple others. But anyway, thanks, Dick. Back to you, ve3bz.
It'd be a good question. You know, the POTA people are just people that go camping, and I talked to a gentleman the other day on the Cortland, New York area. He was camping, and he gets on. About the only time I've talked to him over the past few years is when he does camp for a week or so in that area. Otherwise, we don't hear him. So, thanks, Kevin. Silent keys tonight. One via our text line, K5EN, Echo November. Richard from Grants, New Mexico. Gee whiz, what's going on down there in New Mexico? Did we remember him last week? I'm not sure, but he came up on our list tonight, along with the 65 new users this week, 39 of them with email addresses. So we will put K5EN in the log sheet, Vicki, if you would, please, and I will ask if anyone else has a silent key that they would like to have remembered. I can't remember whether we remembered Richard from last week or not, but he came up on this week's text. Does anyone have a silent key that they would like to have remembered tonight?
Sorry, this is Kitty at BFY. I'm new to this. Well, I'm not new. I've only been on this net for a couple days. I actually do not know what a silent key is. If UNet controller is UNet controller, could you please explain that to me? I'm sorry for breaking in. I'm just really what's that? I've never heard that term before in the ham industry. Sorry for breaking in. Kitty at BFY.net.
All right. Well, a silent key is a brother amateur that has died, that has passed away. A silent key. It's an old term. I don't even know where it came from. Back in the CW days, obviously with FK, I would think. But I was just our system. I see how it's kicking. We see how it's kicked up Richard, but we'll remember him again tonight. We see how K5E, and we added him to our log sheet last week, and he flagged up this week. So we see how that happened. We're going to have to watch it. So does anybody have a silent key from the East Coast Reflector family that they would like to have remembered? Well, hearing nothing, we have a moment of silence once again this week for Richard. I'm sorry, would you come again, please?
This is Kilo 5 Lima Mike Victor, comment on silent key.
K5 LMV, do you have a silent key that you would like to have remembered here this evening?
Yes, sir. I'd like to remember my grandfather passed away about 30 years ago, and he was the original K5 LMV. And, of course, I did a vanity to get his call sign back on the air. And I've actually met some folks that talked to him back in the day, so that's been quite a good conversation. Back to you, sir.
All right, I think it's David. I guess you got his call saying, well, we don't usually remember somebody that's passed away 35 years ago. We try to get people in the current month. But let's remember David's grandfather, and we'll remember Richard here a minute tonight. Again, from Grants, New Mexico. It's certainly not gonna hurt to remember K5EN. So we could just have a moment of silence for David's grandfather and Richard from Grants, New Mexico, please. Thank you, everybody. Like I said, Joe is here tonight. Who will it be, Joe? KD2TFB. Enlighten us, my friend. Thank you, Dick. Answer to the question is, no, I haven't been in a campground for probably 2 decades, and I've been a ham for less than that. I got my ticket in 2019. As with many of these episodes, the primary source of information is English language Wikipedia. Rajiv was born in Bombay on August 20th, 1944. In 1951, he and his younger brother Sanjay were admitted to Shiv Nikitan School, where the teachers said Rajiv was shy and introverted and, quote, greatly enjoyed painting and drawing, unquote. Later in life, it took 2 tries to pass the Mechanical Sciences qualifying exam for Trinity College, Cambridge, but was eventually admitted September 4th, 1962. Despite lots of support from his family and his family's friends, Rajiv failed end-of-year exams and left Trinity in 1965 without a degree. In 1966, he began a course in mechanical engineering at Imperial College London, but failed to complete it. In 1966, he returned to Delhi and became a member of the Flying Club, where he trained as a pilot. In 1970, he was employed as a pilot by Indian Airlines. In 1968, after 3 years of courtship, he married Sonia. On October 31st, 1984, his mother was murdered by, of all people, her bodyguards. About this, our celebrity remarked, quote, when a giant tree falls, the earth below shakes, unquote. Despite this shaky start to his life, our celebrity call sign of the week, Victor Uniform 2 Romeo Golf, or VU2RG, would go on to lead India as Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi from 1984 to 1989. Yes, his mother, Indira, was assassinated, after which Rajiv assumed her role and was himself assassinated on December 23rd, 1990, while campaigning for Congress president. Kilo Delta 2 Tango Fox, back to net control. Well, thank you, Joe. Appreciate you coming in here every week and enlightening us with the celebrity of the week. For those of you that are just joining us, I will mention this one more time before we get any further here. We are not doing call districts any longer. We're not taking stations by call districts when we get to the check-in portion of the net. Once we get by the TechNet questions, we're using our text line 716-317-9050 or our email line at text@ecr.radio. Text@ecr.radio if you're on a computer. And we'll get you on the list. Like I said earlier, we're going to work 10 text check-ins, 10 radio check-ins, 10 text, 10 radio, and so forth until the list goes down. So you can get on the list. I see this list is getting longer, so you can text in at any time, and it only applies for stations for the general check-ins, for the tech. Let's see if we have any new users with us tonight, users that have never checked into this net before. Could we have your call sign, please, twice? This is Dick WB2JPQ.
Do you mind if I list the silent key? I'm a little bit late to the game.
Would prefer to keep protocol running here. If you would text it into us for next week, please. Do I have any new users to this net, that have stations that have never checked into this net before?
Alpha Foxtrot Delta W2 OFD checking in.
Kilo 6 Golf Bravo Zulu.
Oh, Thomas, you got to release your push to talk after you call in. K6 GBZ, we got you. And we got Joseph from Ridge, New York. Let's start with Joseph. Do you go by Joseph? Joe, we can change your name if you like. Your first time check-in. Good evening, Joseph from Ridge, New York, W2OFD. Would you like to answer our question tonight? Have you ever operated from a campground?
Josie, no, I have not.
Yeah, but you put down no. Anything else you want to add tonight? That was kind of brief, though you have not. Like to tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been an amateur? I wonder if that's an original call sign. If so, you've been in ham for a long time.
No, sir, W2OFD. No, my original calls were N2OFD. And then I had to change to W2OFD a while ago. I'm a retired volunteer and retired from work. I belong to a team called the YAC team.
Can't worry about that stuff. I got my own things going. Joseph, you want to try that again? There was a gentleman on IEX bridge that was keying up over the top of you. Would you like to try that again?
Special email 1 minute.
The wind link. I believe your answer, we're going to move on here. I believe your answer was yes, you have operated. Is that correct? You have operated from a campground?
No, sir, I haven't. I don't know if you heard me when you asked about my background. I've been here for quite a while. My original calls were N2OFD. I'm just tired of people asking me if I own an airplane, so I changed it to W2OFD. It's been with me for quite some time. I'm a retired fire chief. Let's see, what else, you guys, I can tell you. I'm retired, and I team out here called the YAC Team Search and Rescue Club here. It's pretty good. W2OFD back to net. Thank you.
Joseph, do you go by Joe? Joseph, like I said, we can change your name here in the log sheet if you'd like.
Sir, I appreciate it. I go by Joe. Juliet Oscar Echo. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joe. You will be known as Joe from now on. How about Thomas out in California? K6GBZ. Good evening to you, Thomas.
Good evening to you in the net. In answer to the question, yes, I have during the last field day. It was an amazing process, although it was like 103 degrees outside.
Two questions for you. You want to stick with Thomas for the log? And did you have a fire with 102 degrees?
I prefer to go by Tom, and actually we've been really lucky with fires this year. Only little teeny tiny ones that seem to be, that CAL FIRE seems to put out as fast as they show up. So this year we've been really lucky in Northern California.
Damn, I was kidding about a campfire. About a campfire at 100 some degrees. I don't think you probably were sitting around a campfire while you were operating from a campground. Thank you, Tom. We got your name changed. Who else do I have? New users to this net. If you've never checked into this net, give us your call sign twice.
This is Kilo Juliet 5 Lima Charlie Oscar KJ5 LCO Bodie in Cherokee, Texas.
This is November 4 Romeo India Delta and 4 RID Todd, near Atlanta, Georgia.
K7 Tango and 4 ID. K7. You also got KJ5 LCO in here, but unfortunately, LCO, you have been in here before. You're flagged red on our monitor, so we'll ask you to call in during the general check-in portion of the net. And we also got a K7 Delta something. Stand by, I'll pick your call sign up in a minute. Let me go to Todd, N4RID. Good evening, Todd. And our question tonight, you probably heard, have you ever operated from a campground? Good evening.
Good evening. Absolutely, I've operated, I've done some POTA stuff from a couple of campgrounds here in Georgia. I activated from right near our camp this weekend, actually.
Vicky will give you, I guess we don't use yes and no's, we're using flames and something else tonight on our log sheet, which is okay.
Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear, there you go. Thanks for being there, Todd. We kind of thought this would be a good question, good time of year. And it was a K7, the K7 question mark Delta. Your call sign twice, please.
Yeah, this is K7 TPD, Kilo 7, Tango Papa Delta. Name is Tom, Tango Oscar Mike, Tucson, Arizona.
This is Kilo Delta 8, Bravo Foxtrot Yankee. Again, that is Kilo Delta 8, Bravo Foxtrot Yankee. Or call me KD8DFY. Checking in. Thank you.
This is Kilo Echo 2, Charlie Charlie Kilo. Kilo Echo 2, Charlie Charlie Kilo.
Well, we had Matt in there from Frankfurt, New York. You've been in here 9 times, Matt, KE2CCK, so you're certainly not a new check-in. Roland is, KD8 BFY. We'll get to you in just a minute. Let me go to Tom in Tucson, Arizona. Tom, good evening to you. First time on the East Coast Reflector course, first time in this net. Good evening. Care to answer our question tonight?
Sure thing, and thank you very much. This is K7 TPD. Yes, I have done field days from campgrounds. And like the earlier gentleman, the one I did, the last one I did was a desert campground here in Tucson, where the temperatures were well above 100 degrees. And I operated the CWQRP station at that time.
Well, at least you stayed away from the heat of the high-power amplifiers anyway, Tom. Hey, thanks for being there. Let me go to Roland, a brand new amateur. Roland, tell me a little bit about yourself, and have you ever operated from a campground? Good evening. Roland, KD8 BFY, are you still with us? Would you like to answer our question tonight? I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Roland, but we'll move along. Who else do I have? Stations that are new to this net, that have never checked in to this net. Your call sign twice. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
Did they say KD8DFY? I'm really sorry. I heard KD8DFY over the net. I heard that. That's what I heard. My bad. Did you say that, WTJPQ?
I would like to have you answer our question tonight. Have you ever operated from a campground? That's our question tonight, and welcome to the East Coast Reflector.
Thank you, and, yes, I was in Traverse City, Timber Ridge Resort. Pretty nice place, let me tell you. But, I was there, and it was pretty nice. Yes, I was at that campground, and yes, I did. I have operated from a campground. KD8BFY. Sorry for the late response. Back to net control.
Thank you, Roland. Welcome. Welcome to the amateur radio community. I'm sure you will enjoy it. It's a lifelong hobby. You're getting in at the right age. What else do we have? Stations that have never checked into this net before. Call thanks twice. That was a double. I'm going to take the one from Fort Lauderdale. The station was on W4 MOT only, please. It was on Fort Lauderdale, W4 MOT.
KR4 FPL, KR4 Florida.
I'm looking for the station that was on the Fort Lauderdale repeater that called in. We got a Tommy from Jacksonville, but I know that the repeater doesn't reach to Jacksonville, KR4FPM. And I got a Kevin from Bowling Green, KF8DJQ. You've been in here once before, sir, so I'm going to have to ask you to call in the general call district. Who's the station from Fort Lauderdale? Other than Tommy from Jacksonville, who do I have that would like to call in?
DC.
Somebody from Homosassa, all we heard was C. You need to key up, wait a couple seconds, give your call sign twice.
KO4HDC.
KO4HDC. And who was the other station that doubled with Bill?
KR4 FPL, Kilo Romeo 4, Foxtrot Papa Lima.
Hey, Joseph, I wonder if we got, I wonder if that really is Tommy. Let's find out if that's really Tommy from Jacksonville. KR4FPM. Is that really you, Tommy, or was that Joseph and we misplaced the M for an L? Let's see what Simon says here. One more time, was that KR4FPM by any chance?
KR4FPL, Florida Power Lights or Foxtrot Papa Lima. I'm in the Zoom and I was on All-Star, but it was making noise.
All right, Joe. We had the other one come up there, and you must. We got you. Good evening, Joe. Go ahead, answer our question, and welcome. What do you mean All-Star was noisy? What were you coming through?
Well, I'm currently speaking to you on my Alinco DR570. I'm watching you guys on Zoom, and I had my Echolink going on my phone, so I had to quiet my Echolink because it was making noise while I was talking. But no, I've never done anything from a campground yet, but I plan to next time I go camping, so it should be a good bit of fun. KR4 FPL, back over to net control.
Thank you, John. Get your
778XE, Kilo Mike 7, Alpha X-Ray Echo. It's Cody up in Utah. If I get anybody on the ECR that can do a radio check for me?
Are you kidding me? Was that really a radio check in the middle of a net? Pretend I didn't even hear that. Thanks, Joe. Good evening to Bill, KO4HDC. Good evening, Bill. I'd like to answer our question tonight. Have you ever operated from a campground?
No, sir. I'm a relatively new ham, and I have not done that. But then again, there's 2 zillion ham radio things that I have not done.
It's good, Bill. Think of all the things you got to look forward to. Hey, thanks for being there. All right, let me tell you, I'll take 2 more. Do we have 2 more new users to this net before we go to stations with questions? Call signs twice.
Is November 8, Japan Radio Papa, NHJRP, John in Allen Park, Michigan.
John, I need 1 more to fill up my log here. 1 more station that's new to this net.
Indian Papa, Hollow Lake, Michigan.
The Delta India Papa station twice.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Indian Papa. Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Indian Papa.
Oh, we got you, James. You're kind of noisy, but we got you. Good evening to John in Allen Park, Michigan. Oops, John's been in here or James has been in here before. James, you've been in here from Ottawa Lake, Michigan. You're coming up red, so I'll ask you to call in the general check-ins a little later in the show here tonight. John from Allen Park. Good evening. NHJRP. I'm sorry.
All right, well, thank you for getting me in there, and good evening all on the net. I worked, not necessarily campground, but camping, if that works. So, did 40 meters with an ICOM 706, and a couple of ham sticks set up as a dipole, so it worked out pretty good. And talked to, I don't know, it was like 300 miles or something, basically from northern Michigan to southern Michigan. So that'll be it for me. I'll turn it back to net control.
Well, there you go. Absolutely, that counts. That's what we're looking for. HF and VHF, UHF. And thanks, John. New to the system. It looks like you have a current email address on your QRZ.com page. So you will be receiving a welcome letter from us. We'll take 1 more. 1 more station that has never checked into this net before.
Uniform 1 Lima.
Kilo Juliet 5, Lima Lima Echo. Kilo Juliet 5, Lima Echo, Reflector, Texas.
KJ, I think you doubled with somebody. KJ5 question mark LE, something like that. Your complete call sign.
Kilo Juliet 5, Lima Lima Echo, Blake in Dickinson, Texas.
Oh, LE, we got you, Blake. And there was a U1L or something like that before. Maybe that was Blake. Was there something like that? Was there somebody in one land?
Uniform 1 Lima, KU1L.
KU1L. like he's in the Western New York area. All right, let me go to John, Allen Park. Oh, no, we did John in Allen Park, didn't we? Yeah, we did John in Allen Park, Michigan. Let me go to Michael. KU1L. Good evening to you, Michael, and welcome to the East Coast Reflector. You probably heard our question tonight.
I just joined the net. I'm driving from Kentucky to Massachusetts tonight, so just wanted to say hello to all.
Right, I see you're driving through Western New York. Welcome. Would you like to answer our question? Have you ever operated from a campground?
Negative.
Okay, Michael, we got you down for a no. Let me go to Blake. We out there in Texas, KJ5LLE. Good evening, Blake.
Good evening. Good evening, sir, and everybody on the net. I have not. I'm also a new ham. I'm really hoping this weekend I can get out to Galveston State Park. I think the Clear Lake group is having a POTA out there, so I'm hoping to get out there and have a little fun and learn a little bit. With that, KJ5 LLE, back to net.
Thank you, Blake. Well, that'll do it for the new tonight. We had quite a number of new check-ins here tonight, which is great. And all the new check-ins that have a current email address on QRZ will receive a welcome letter, hopefully after midnight tonight. Let's take stations with amateur radio related questions. If you have a question for tonight, please give us your call sign twice. Once again, this is Dick, WB2JPQ, and where are we? 42 past the hour. WCW.
P2TFB, Kilo Delta 2 Tango Fox Bravo.
Kilo Delta 8, Bravo Foxtrot Yankee, having a question about amateur radio. Yeah, you know me. I've been it a few times, as you know. But, yes, I have a question. Back to that.
I got Roland, Joe, and Press, W2PW. I know you got awful buzz on your signal, Press. We'll try to pull you out. Good evening, W2PW.
Gee, I kind of heard that. Don't know what's going on. Are you ready for the question?
I'll be ready if you answer my question first. Have you ever operated from a campground?
Well, my stance on camping is this. My idea of roughing it is when room service is late. So no.
It was me. Ever since then, it's been a myriad. Your question, please.
Okay, I'm sure you know what I'm going to ask. The question is for FXC, if he's around, or anybody else who's aware of very deep all-star issues. I was going to ask about a feature called Ranger. Does anybody know what a feature called Ranger is? It's an abandoned project, apparently, in the all-star system. Back to net.
Talked about it last night, Press. I have no clue. Is K4FXC, David, he would be our prime suspect. Are you with us tonight?
Yeah, WB2JPQ in the net, K4FXC, I am indeed. Dear, just one off just then. Yeah, the Ranger project was, circa about 20 years ago. where the notion is that you could enter a certain code from a radio and activate a whole series of repeaters, just, you know, like with a fast access code for emergency communications. So it's kind of like a pipeline to a series of linked repeaters for emergency communications. It was pitched to the FCC about 20 years ago, and the FCC turned it down. And those were 9,000, or node number starting with the 9 in All-Star originally. Most of that has been turned off in ham VoIP. I think they're just starting to turn that off in ASL at this point. But it is it's antiquated and deprecated, quite frankly, at this point, in my opinion.
Okay, Dave. Thank you. Well, we've been experiencing something very strange where occasionally, and my nodes are ham VoIP, when I let go of my mic, I immediately hear 5 beeps, and then my courtesy tone. And what's really strange is it even happens if I'm in monitor mode. That I can't even figure out. Like, if I'm in monitor mode, how is the system detecting my transmission? Let alone, how do we find this? The word rogue is wrong, but it's definitely doing some strange things, and I was wondering if you know what we can do about it.
Yeah, K4FXC. Look for any node connected anywhere in your network that starts with a number 9, and that is the problematic node. And there shouldn't be anyone out there that's using 9s, you know, for private nodes or whatever else. But I'm guessing someone is, and that's happened several times lately.
I see. And in conclusion, can you expand on why I'm getting the 5 beeps when I let go and I'm in monitor? I'm not even sending my audio to the network as far as I know. Is it something where the network is aware that I'm transmitting but not propagating my information onto to the reflector?
Well, that's I think the default tone for Ranger. That you can define several different tones. I think that may be the default, but that's letting you know that a Ranger node is linked in, so that there is what was originally proposed to be an emergency situation underway whenever you had a Ranger node linked in. So it's letting you know that a potential emergency situation might or originally was proposed to be happening. You know, when a Ranger node was connected.
Okay, well, I still can't figure out why I'm getting the beeps when I monitor, but we'll move on. Thank you. By the way, Vicky had done some research and found pretty much the same answer that you gave. So I think our game plan is this: when it starts to happen, we're going to sort of look over the network and see if there's a 9 series nodes and deal with them. Thank you. W2PW. Back to net.
Yeah, and I mentioned you can turn that off, and I'll look and see how you can add a code or a little parameter to rpd.conf to turn that off. But the reason you're getting it, and everybody should be getting it, that is set up on the network that's linked in, is to let them know that like I said, if somebody's on there that is Ranger node, which would imply an emergency was underway. So, either to let them know to hold on, there's an emergency happening, or to help out, there's an emergency happening, that kind of thing. That's the reason you're getting it. So it's just to identify the scenario is active, K4FXC. But again, antiquated and deprecated.
All right, it's a point of curiosity. I said I was going to be... Okay. It happens to any individual node who unkeys, and only to that node. The entire network doesn't hear it. The last heard station does. Interesting. Okay, I seriously am back to net, W2PW.
Thanks for bringing it up for us. And David, the answer, this has been happening more and more and more. And it happened, I think, 3 times last week. A station will come on, we don't have no idea who it was, and we thought it was activating all the ASL3 nodes, because many people were getting 5 beeps all of a sudden. It's happened quite a number of times here, so something is going on. Thanks. Let me move on to Joe in Cheektowaga, KD2TFP. Joe, your question, please.
Thank you, Dick. I have myself a Yaesu FT2600M, and every once in a while, I'll hear, while I'm listening, I'll hear what I'll describe as a short, high-pitched beep. I'll look over at the display. Usually there will be a single digit on it, and it's like it's trying to tell me an error code or something. All I have to do is press the push to talk once, and I hear like a slightly longer beep with about half the frequency. So it's like an octave down, and it sort of clears the error. Any clue? Google is of no help to tell me what the heck this means. Anybody have an experience with a Yaesu FT2600?
Anybody helped you out? He's looking for answers for FT2600. I don't know, Joe. Don't have a 2600. Maybe somebody will come along here tonight. Why don't you hang on? Let me move on to Roland. Roland, you had a technical question for us tonight. KD8F or BFY. I'm sorry, BFY, Roland. Did you have an amateur radio related question? A particular specific question? KD8BFY, do you have a question for us tonight?
Here. My amateur radio related question. Yeah, that's me. Yes, I do have an amateur radio related question. Number one, do you know, does anybody on this net know any good mobile radios? Looks like a good 20 watts of transmitting power. And my wallet cry. Thank you. Back to net control, KD8BFY.
Well, you're gonna have to, you're not an HT, I can tell by the, that you're walking around. You're gonna have to stand still, hold the radio vertical when you're talking. I think you're asking for, if anybody is it a recommendation for a good 20 watt radio? Are we talking UHF, VHF? You have to give us some more details.
Preferably VHF, UHF, both of those, because I do VHF. I'm not biased to one band, but, I'm looking for 20 watts, VHF, UHF, and that won't make me and my wallet cry. KD8BFY, sorry about that. I'm in a very straight line right now. Have a good line, have a great line of sight. Yeah, so, can you hear me now?
Anybody want to recommend a 20 watt radio, UHF, VHF for Roland? It won't break his wallet.
It'll be a 4HKL. Handheld or mobile?
Well, kind of hard to get a 20 watt handheld, so I would have to say a mobile. Steve, W4HKL, go ahead.
Thanks, Dick. I'd like to recommend the Anytone AT779UV. That's Anytone AT779UV. I've had quite a bit of luck using several of them. Back to net, WF4HKL.
Steve, there you go, Roland. Do a little homework on an AT779UV. Thanks for your question. What else do we have? Stations with an amateur radio related question tonight.
QAJV.
I'm signing off early. KEBFY, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for bed. I'm pretty sure they do like a second round of they do like a third round of tests, something like that. They did that yesterday. This is KEBFY. For the rest of the night, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll hear you guys tomorrow morning for the first morning cup net, and especially I'm going tomorrow for the hump dog rag shoe. The hump day rag shoe. I'm definitely going on that 100%. Thank you, back to net. KEBFY over and out. For the rest of the night, sorry for jamming up. Have a good rest of the night.
Recognize Tony, W2AJV. Good evening, Tony. Nice to hear you on analog. Been hearing you on digital, I believe. Your question, and why don't you answer ours tonight, Tony? Have you ever operated from a campground? Good evening.
No, W2HAV. Hello, Dick. It's good to hear you, pal. No, I've never operated from a campground. But if I operated from a campground, I don't know if I'd be able to do that, because instead of getting a fifth of bourbon, I'd get a fifth of milk. And I don't know if I can handle that. My question is this. I have an Open Spot 4 Pro, and I'm trying to set it up for DMR, and I type in all the necessary credentials, and I just can't get it going. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. The message that I'm receiving back tells me that the password is wrong. But as far as I know, the password is correct. I'm wondering if I could get somebody that could possibly work with me, maybe on the phone, and get it out. And yeah, I'm on analog. I like All-Star. I just like All-Star a lot. So, back to net control. And Dick, you're doing a great net as usual. Keep it up, buddy. You and Vicky and the whole gang of people who do this net. So, this is W2AJV. Back to net control. All of you do a great job.
A lot of practice. I've been doing this net for over 12 years, so I should be able to get it right. Anybody got a Hotspot 4 Pro that has working at DMI that can help Anthony out? It'd probably be lengthy. Maybe you guys could go node to node or something. Anybody with a 4 Pro?
W2PW.
We'll get 2 PW.
Quick thought. He mentioned a password. He's probably referring to the hotspot security password. And if you
don't get that to align, you can go on brandmeister.network, go on to self-care, and just set another one. Just overwrite the existing one with something you can remember, and then try transferring that back into the node itself. That's my only thought on this back in that WTW.
Thanks, Press. Sorry about my audio. Vicky just told me my audio was hot. I guess it got cranked up here unbeknownst to me. Guess it might have been a little bit hot. I guess it's something to look at, Anthony. Are you sure you were looking at the right passwords? Yeah. Are you sure you have you're using the right password for the right credentials for what you're, did you hear Press's comment? I did. W2AJV. Let me make sure I have it. I did. I heard his comment. Brandmeister is very, very confusing. But I'll check it again. Thank you, sir. Right. If that doesn't work, I guess give us a call. Is there anybody out there that is using a Pro 4 that could help Anthony out in the future if this doesn't work for him? Out of our Zoom room, it says Google it, Anthony. A lot of information pops right up, so you might want to Google your problem and see what it shows. All right, let's take another station. Thanks, Press, for your comment, and good luck, Anthony. Stations with an amateur radio-related question. This is Dick, WB2JPQ. Echo 3, Sierra,
KE8BLC. I'm wondering what happens if someone else starts using your license?
Recognize the 3SSR. Can we get your complete call sign on the 3SSR, please? Victor Echo 3, Sierra Romeo. Victor Echo 3, Sugar Radio. To Eugene. And the KE8DLZ, I believe it was. We got your call sign. Please wait to ask your question. Go ahead, Eugene, VE3SSR. And if you care to answer our question first, have you ever operated from a campground? We'll get you logged in here. Good evening. This is VE3SSR. I'm located in Thornhill near Toronto. Coming through VSTW repeater. The question is, how can I rate the efficiency of my antenna? Over. Yeah, I didn't quite hear the question. How can I something about your antenna? I missed the key word in there. You have a real clear signal. Sounds like you got some jitters in there somewhere. Ask your question again, please. The question is, how can I estimate or evaluate the efficiency of my antenna? How can I evaluate the efficiency of my antenna? Over. Can you evaluate the efficiency of your antenna? Good question. Charles, are you with us tonight?
I am indeed, Dick. Good evening, everyone. This is Charles, KC6UFM, and
Eugene, when you just say evaluate the efficiency of your antenna, there are, I don't know, 300-400 different ways to measure efficiency. What exactly are you looking for? I mean, are you having a problem with your antenna that it's not performing the way you think it should, or are you just curious about how it is functioning? Going to need a little bit more information there.
Well, this is Reflector 3, Sierra Romeo. I would like to work with the DX stations on the shortwaves. And sometimes, I have different antennas. Some of the antennas are better than the others. And I put it this way. When I'm here in North America, and I like to talk to Europe, and I have different antennas. How do I know which one has the best efficiency over?
Okay, Eugene, yeah, that's specific enough there. Basically, what we're really talking about here, Eugene, is proper installation and, more importantly, propagation at a given moment. From moment to moment, two different antennas will perform entirely differently. Sometimes one will be better, other times the other will be better. The way to solve that problem is to have multiple antennas. And, the technical term is, diversity of the antennas, to where you can switch back and forth between an antenna to find the one that is going to work best right now. The typical way of handling that is to use a vertical antenna and some sort of a horizontal antenna. Typically we're talking about a wire of some sort here, a dipole or an end fed, something like that, to where you can switch back and forth between those and see which one is going to perform best for you at that particular moment. Because there is no one-size-fits-all answer, Eugene. As I say, sometimes one antenna will work phenomenally well. The next day, that exact same antenna may not be much better than a coat hanger shoved in the back of the radio. That's propagation and how everything just works with the physics. But the other half of that is the proper installation. And that means you have a proper RF ground, you have a proper feed line, a proper match to the antenna, all those sorts of things. But if all that is equal, there's no antenna that is better than any other antenna all the time. Does that make any sense?
So much. I know there are so many variables which affect the efficiency of the antenna, and I just wonder is that Yagi antenna or cubical quad or vertical antennas which would have what I've noticed, my Yagi antennas, they most work quite well, but on the other hand, sometimes vertical antenna has a better reception of European station than the Yagi, and I agree. So that is a task which is, I need to analyze a lot of things. And another thing, sometimes I'm trying to web SWL radio, and which is located somewhere in Europe, and I was trying to evaluate the strength of my signal there. And sometimes it works, but sometimes it's a little bit confusing. But anyway, thanks a lot for your explanation, and really appreciate that. This is Reflector 3, Sierra Eugene, near Toronto, Canada.
Okay, I think you got the gist of it there, Eugene. Like I say, if you can put up 4 or 5 different antennas, and then switch between them, you're going to be much happier with that in terms of consistent performance, because you'll be able to switch back and forth from one end to another. If we're talking about a long wire of some sort, dipole, or an end-fed or a full-blown long wire, even running them at different angles. And sometimes the angle doesn't make sense based upon the propagation. But if you have many antennas that you can switch between, you have that antenna diversity, you'll be able to find one that will work very well pretty much all of the time that way. So back over to you, Dick, KC6, UFM.
Thank you for the question, Eugene. Thank you, Charles. Gets back to throwing a piece of wire out and having a good time, right, Charles? It always comes back. Put a piece of wire in there and enjoy. Let's go to Staten Island, Salvatore, KA2DLZ. Your question, please. DLZ. Time, Staten Island, New York, KA2DLZ. Your question, please. This is Dick, double get B2JPQ with East Coast Reflector TechNet number 637. Looking for stations with an amateur radio related question. Call signs twice, please. N0TIS, N0TIS. Looking at you in the Zoom room. Good evening. Your question. Well, answer our question, and then I'll take one from you. Fair enough?
Fair enough. No, I haven't. I've listened, but haven't really done much in the campground area. Just too busy. Maybe when it gets cooler weather, might try to do some POTA, just to have a little fun doing that. My question is for Roger, KO4QMM. Roger, my question to you is, you got a hex beam. Do you like it? Would you buy another one if you had a chance?
Well, I'll turn it over to Roger, let him answer it, but I think he's in the process of buying the company. Roger, you got a comment for Otis?
I didn't quite hear his question.
I wanted to know if you liked your hex beam, and I kind of jumped in and said I think you're in the process of buying the hex beam company, or at least shares in it.
Well, I just told a friend of mine, this is KO4QMM Roger in Central Florida, and yeah, I just told a friend of mine that maybe I should buy a second one. So if that gives you any kind of idea, man, I tell you what, I love it, and it's very portable, it's easy, and easy for me to take up and put down, and wow, the SWR, I don't have a lot to say bad about it. I even emailed the guy that I bought it from and gave him a good review. So if that answers your question there, KO4QMM.
Is that the answer you were looking for?
It was, yes. But yeah, see, I'm like Roger. I'm on the coast, and hurricanes, things like that. So we don't like to put up big old gaudy antennas that we have to take down, and it takes 3 days to do it. So I really like the Hex Beam, and I think it's going to be a good addition. I'm going to try to set one of those up and play around with it. But yeah, that did answer my question. Thank you, Dick. Thank you, Roger. N0TIS.
Otis, good to see you in the Zoom room. Thanks, Roger. Who else do we have? Stations with an amateur radio related question.
4 NHP, K4 NHP.
I4 NHP. Good evening to you. Would you like to answer our question? You ever operated from a campground? And then go ahead with your question, please.
Many years ago, that when I was more active in amateur radio, that if you can count a camper and a fire outside, yes.
All right, Vicky's got a fire alongside your name. That's our mojo for tonight. Go ahead with your question.
My question is, I am in a restricted neighborhood. I am looking at a Diamond or a Comet VHF antenna to place in my attic. That I've got a real tall, about a 15-foot tall attic, and I'm wondering of what requirements. Let me let off and read the key. That do I need to put a ground or use the ground from the coax, or attach the antenna to the ground on the electrical system? Do I need to put some screen wire or something underneath of it to try to get more the ground coverage under it? Any good suggestions?
KC6UFM. Dead over to Charles, but one thing you mentioned, just VHF. Don't fool with just VHF. Put a dual band collinear in there, right, Charles?
Thank you, Dick. Yeah, that was going to be my my very first comment. There was, don't bother with just VHF. Get a dual bander, because I pretty much guarantee you, boys, you're going to want it soon. But in any event, it depends on what kind of antenna. You weren't real specific. If it is a antenna designed for base installation that has radials, then you won't need to put down any screen wire or anything like that. The coax shield inside the attic will be adequate for grounding the antenna and the radials up there. And you inside the house like that, inside the attic, you don't have to worry too much about safety ground and that sort of thing, because it's inside the building. However, if you were talking about a mobile antenna, then you will need to have some sort of ground plane underneath it. Get you a great big cookie sheet or a big old pizza pan or something like that, and mount the antenna to that, and that'll take care of that problem. That'll give you the ground plane there. But yeah, again, don't bother with just getting a VHF, because you're going to turn around in just a short time, I'm almost certain, boys, and buy a radio that you're going to need for UHF as well. And that way you'll already have the antenna up there. And the price difference between a straight VHF and a dual bander is very, very minimal. So just go ahead and make the investment now for a little bit later. So back over to you, Dick, KC6 UFM.
ACHPRZ monitoring.
You might be monitoring, but you're really not listening. The 8 station, you're in the middle of a net. Was there another station in there with a comment?
For 8 Oscar Alpha Yankee.
We got 8 Oscar Alpha Yankee. Give us your call sign. Key up, wait a couple seconds, and give us your call sign, and go ahead with your comment.
Okay, it is November 8th, Oscar Alpha Yankee, November 8th. I had a Diamond X50 antenna in my attic several years ago when I had my own home. It worked quite well, pretty good range, Diamond X50. And the answer to your question is no, I've never operated from a campground.
Look online. You'll see, look for pictures of antennas in attics, collinears in attics. You will see a lot of them. It's pretty common, people in HOAs and so forth. The biggest drawback is the roof rafters in most houses aren't high enough to put a heavy gain. So that'd be your criteria. But you said you have all kinds of height, so you should be able to put about anything in there that you want. Was that any help to you, boys?
One more follow-up question.
Well, are you gonna run? I don't think you're gonna run 500 watts on UHF or VHF, are you?
Well, I hope not. It's, living in the mountains, it creates a problem. And I happen to have, I think it's a 450 VHF.
Go ahead, David.
Yes, I mentioned, if you're going to run higher power, you can certainly go to commercial antennas or commercial style antennas like folded dipoles and whatnot, and they'll handle legal limit. I mean, you not all of them, but you can get antennas that'll handle legal limit, amateur limit, without looking or working too hard at it. Main thing to be aware of with any of the Diamond X50s or Diamond or Comet antennas or any of those in that classification is they say maybe 150 watts. They mean 150 watts PEP. They don't mean 150 watts average power like FM full time. You will burn them up. I have burned them up, and so just be careful. Be careful running too much power into those antennas. You can replace a couple little capacitors down at the base of the antenna and increase the power rating substantially, and I've done that in a couple of Diamond X510s, but just be aware that the ham grade antennas like that, they say 150 watts. Well, that's intermittent. That's not you know, I would not run past about 75 or 80 watts on any of those antennas. With a commercial folded dipole or commercial station master or something like that, yeah, 500 watts, no problem. K4FXC.
I was wondering about the red from it. That I just didn't want to burn my house down.
Yeah. Other thing to think about when you're running that much power is you want to make sure that it is up in the clear. And you mentioned maybe in the attic or something, or that may have been another station I was caught. I'm not sure if you were asking about it or not, but that you're probably a little bit too close to that. So you definitely want to get it out in the clear, away from, you know, where you're near it, where, you know, particularly where you're like looking at it or close to it with your eyes. It can cause major problems, you know, long term like that. So just get it up in the air a little bit, and in that scenario, it should be fine. K4FXC.
Thank you, David. Boys, I hope that steered you in the right direction. Come back and let us know how you make out. When you get it installed, please take some pictures and send them in to us, and we'll use it in our magazine and on Facebook and so forth.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the information, and y'all have a great night. This is KI4 NHP Clear.
Well, boys, I'll take one more technical amateur radio related question. It's 26 past the hour. We'll take one more question, amateur radio related question. W0SBH for the question. SBH. We're loading, but we don't see it come up on QRZ. Good evening. Whiskey Zero Sierra Victor Hotel. I'm good on QRZ. Had a guy come on the repeater tonight and say that when the sun is beating down on his dual band antenna in the afternoons from basically 4:30 to 7 p.m. until the time it gets dark, he's getting basically an SWR issue. Has anybody heard of capacitors in a dual band antenna going bad due to heat? That's the question I have.
KC6UFM.
All right, Charles, well, it's a new one on me.
Oh, you're Dick. That happens all the time. I think I've had about half a dozen antennas that do that. But yeah, Bob, Sean, the capacitors will go bad, but they will be okay as long as the temperature is reasonably cool. As soon as the temperature starts going up, the capacitors will change value, and that will throw the SWR off. They can be replaced. I won't kid you that it is an easy job for all antennas, because some of them you're going to have to take a Dremel tool to the plastic that they are in, and after that, some of them are embedded in epoxy inside, so you may have to do a little digging to get to them. But another thing that could be happening on the other end of the reactance spectrum is that there could be a coil that is changing shape as the temperature changes. That will also change the value of the inductance, which will also alter the match. So, you know, you kind of have to figure out which one it is that's giving you the problem. And my past experience with that has been that it ends up being trial and error. You know, you go in, you replace the capacitors, it still does it. So you go in and replace the inductor, and that'll often fix it. But the other half of the equation is, like I say, it's not necessarily an easy job. So keep that in mind. But I would bet money that is what is happening to his system. Less commonly, though, you can have a coax connector that is also expanding and or contracting and losing contact. So the first thing I would check, even though it's relatively rare, is the connectors, and make sure that there's nothing happening to them. Back over to you, Dick, KC6, UFM.
K4FXC. I thought I'd add to that another common issue that can be seen when you have an antenna that is changing SWR with temperature or things like that is moisture intrusion, either in the coax or the antenna proper, and that will certainly do it as well. I have had that happen. In fact, I've had that happen on microwave gear. I just commercial microwave links that work perfectly, and then the next morning they're not working, and it was related to moisture, that was trapped in various connectors that was originally in the feed line that collected in connectors, and it would work fine. I mean, great signal, and then temperature change 15-20 degrees, and it wouldn't work at all, dead as a post. So look out for any moisture that might be trapped somewhere as well. K4FXC.
808Y.
Thanks, David. Who was the station at OED, OAY, or something like that? Go ahead, sir, with your comment.
Use soldered coax connectors. Do not use crimped coax connectors. They will expand and contract. 10808Y, back to that.
Dave, thanks, both Daves, and thanks, Charles. I've replaced many caps, but I have never noticed on a collinear, at least on a hammy collinear, that a difference in the heat and cold. Usually, the vis wire, and something's wrong, but it's interesting, Charles. I guess I did not know that. I've never experienced it, I guess, let's put it that way. But I've changed many caps as the vis wire changes. I guess I never really stopped to think about maybe it is due to temperature change. All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks for the questions. Like I said earlier, we're going to start with Roger and text check-ins. He has the first 10 check-ins that called in today in queue, and then Scott's going to take 10 radio check-ins, and they're work down the list that way tonight and see how that works. You can text in 716-317-9050 if you're just joining us, or email from your computer, text at ecr.radio. Over to you, Roger. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock on the Open for the Brew. Thanks, Vicki, for logging. Over to you, Roger. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
Thanks, Dick. You had a busy evening there with a lot of the questions and such, and new people. That's always good to see. And good evening, everybody. This is KO4QMM, Roger in Central Florida. I'll be the net controller for the next 10 text check-ins. Radio check-ins both keeps us busy. Everybody gets in a timely fashion. Scott will do 10 radio check-ins like Dick said, and I'll do the text ones. And we'll see how that goes. All right, starting from the top. Just freaking you out there, Scott. I'm going to go through the call signs. On the bottom, let me take a break here. From the
bottom up, we got KQ4UPK, Chris, Hollywood, Florida, KA7RON, Ron, Vancouver, Washington, W2AAR, Andy, Cheektowaga, New York, yes, BK3AWA, Daryl, Paradise Beach, Australia, KD8BFY, Roland, Troy, Michigan, KC6UFM, Charles, Cathay, California, KK4SED, Les, Claremont, Florida, KA8BYU, Roy, Blaisdell, New York, WA2UUS, Joel, Buffalo, New York, and top of the list, KD2JPP, Bob, Gatlin, Tennessee. If you didn't hear your text in there, you'll probably be on the next list. Let's start with you, Bob, Gatlin, Tennessee. Have you ever operated from a campground? Good evening, Bob.
Hey, Roger. Good evening. And everybody else on the net. Everything sounds good tonight. It's running smooth so far, so keep our fingers crossed, right? But no, I have not operated from a park. So we'll send it right back to net control. Have a good night.
You have a good night too, Bob. Thanks for joining us. And I haven't done a campground either, which, you know, don't mean you have to camp out. I could just drive in, do a few contacts and drive out. So I need to do that. Let's move on to Joel, Buffalo, New York, WA2UUS. How about it, Joel?
Good evening, Roger, and everyone on the net. You said it. I go to campgrounds, but often because I have my mobile unit, I connect up if there are repeaters. I've done that in Western New York and got on D-Star and was able to contact overseas from my car. I guess that's cheating, and it's not quota. But I wish everyone a nice week ahead, and be well and be safe. Thanks, Roger.
Thanks, Joel. You have a good week too. And yeah, nobody says it has to be POTA. Go on in there and make some contacts, usually a quiet place. So have a good evening, Joel. Let's move on to Roy, Blaisdell, New York, K8BYU. Good evening, Roy.
KA8BYU. Yeah, I've operated from a lot of campgrounds all over the place. Especially when I went down to the Dayton Ham Convention and a few other ham fests and that where I camp. So, been there, done that many, many times. Back to you.
Thanks, Roy, for joining us this evening. Have a great evening. Let's move on to Les, Claremont, Florida. Good evening, Les. KK4SED.
Roger and everybody on it. Les here at Claremont. Yes, done a lot of camping. I made connections here, especially here in Central Florida. KK4SED, back to that.
Thanks for joining us, Les. Have a great evening. Now, my buddy Charles in Cathay, California. I just wonder what this guy, if he's gone to a park, and, you know, I hope it's not FTA. How about it, Charles? KC6UFM.
Good evening, Roger, and everyone on the TechNet. This is Charles, KC6UFM. I've done quite a bit of operations from campgrounds, but none, unfortunately, none in the last, what's it been, about 14 years now, because the last trip that I made and was able to operate from was I made a trip up to Northern California, Southern Oregon for the redwoods, and that was where my wife got sick, and since has been disabled, and we've not been able to go camping since then. So that was the last time that I've been. But otherwise, many thanks to Vicki for getting out there tonight, and you and her, Scott and Dick. You guys kind of got your work cut out for you here herding cats tonight, from what I've seen so far. But I know you'll get it down. But here in beautiful downtown Guatai, it's been a little warm, but today it actually cooled off a little bit, Roger. It only got up to 105 today, so I was kind of looking around for my long pants and maybe a sweater, but they're not to worry. It's supposed to warm up again a little bit tomorrow, so we won't have to suffer too long with cold weather. But otherwise, not much else happening here in SoCal. Just the normal fall. We'll cool off about November or so. Maybe about Halloween we'll cool off. So not too much longer to wait there. So everyone have a great evening. 7-3. Stay out of trouble. Back over to you, Roger. KC6 UFM.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Charles. And yeah, I was just harassing you about the FGA. I imagine you do a lot of antenna HF and such like that. And sorry you can't be out there doing more of the parks and stuff. But hey, you always make our weather look a little bit better. 85 degrees, cloudy today, a little breezy. I even got to clean my truck up. So thanks for joining us, Charles. Hope you have a wonderful day and the weather gets a little nicer. Let's move on to Roland, Troy, Michigan, KD8BFY. Roland, have you ever operated from a campground yet? I think he went to bed. He was in and out. All right, let's move on to Daryl, Paradise Beach, Australia, VK3AWA. Good evening, Daryl.
Good evening, Roger, Vicky, and those on the net. In answer to your question, yes, many times, Roger, activating POTA parts around the area. Keep up the good work, and thanks for being there. See you later. Back to you, Roger.
Thank you, Daryl. Have a wonderful day there. Geez, I imagine it is already almost noon or something. Have a great day. Let's move on to Andy, Cheektowaga, New York, W2AJR, and this is KO4QMM. Good evening, Andy.
Good evening, Roger, everybody on the net. No, I've never activated or never operated out of a park or out of a campground. I haven't gone camping since I've got my my ticket. So if I ever do, I will take it. I've taken it on vacation plenty of times and made a lot of contacts from hotel rooms in other cities and stuff. But and once on a boat in the ocean, but never from a campground. 7-3, everybody have a great week. Thank you, Roger.
Yeah, you can. I'd like to go on to by the beach and do some mobile contacts, New Smyrna Beach or something like that, where you could just drive right on. I talked to a guy that's portable Saudi Arabia by the beach once in a while, and he says he gets a better signal than when he's at home. Thanks again. Let's move on to Ron, Vancouver, Washington, KA7RON. Good evening, Ron.
Yeah, good evening, and thank you, Roger. It looks like East Coast Reflector has come a long way and made quite a few changes since the last time I checked into this net. I like this text check-in and being able to see how you're coming up. Do that in NetLogger too, but this is I like the way this is set up. And I gather from the icons on my little screen that the little fire is a yes answer, and the creature, the no answer on this tiny screen. I can't tell if that's a bear or a dog or a monkey or what. But anyway, and I was going to say something else about that, but I don't remember what. But anyway, I have several times with VHF, UHF, I almost always have my radios programmed for the where I'm going and try to make contacts. Sometimes it's pretty quiet. So I've done that quite a few times. But VHF, I've only done that twice. I got set up with a portable antenna and a pretty easy way to connect power from my radio from our RV. But I've only actually tried it a couple times. I don't do anything fancy, just a quick setup. I did make contacts both times, so that was a lot of fun. I have yet to do POTA activation in the process, and that is definitely in the plan sometime, hopefully soon. We'll see how that goes. I guess that's it. I'll send it back to Net, and thanks again, 7-3 everybody, 7RON.
Thank you, Ron. Have a wonderful evening and a good upcoming week. Let's move on to Chris, last one on my text list, Hollywood, Florida, KQ4UPK. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, bud. And thank you for running the nets, and Vicky, thank you. Let's see. I don't know. As far as parks, does it count if I go to a park with two, you would call them walkie-talkies, but really they're operating in the GMRS? Would that be kind of like a contact in a park from one side to the other? Other than that, no, I have never done any making contacts in a park. HF or with a node or whatever. So, no, the answer to that question is no for me.
QSL, Ron, we got you for a no. Yeah, the GPS or whatever them walkie-talkies are, that's not UHF, VHF. Thanks for joining us. And that's it for me. We're going to move on to Scott. He's going to do some radio check-ins. This way we both have some fun, and I kind of like this new platform. Over to you, Scott, W2BLT.
Well, thank you, Roger, and good evening, everyone. I'll be taking radio check-ins here for a while. Then we'll go back to Rogers for some more text check-ins. Those of you who'd like to join us tonight, please come with your call sign twice and slowly.
Sierra, Kilo Alpha 5, Sierra, Shane for doing the net. Charlie 1, Juliet Papa Delta. Kilo, Charlie 1, Juliet Papa Delta.
KC5CZX.
Oh, Charlie 9, Papa, Charlie 9, Papa, X-ray
November 5, Lima, Mike, Bravo. The name is Liv.
Kilo, Quebec 4, Foxtrot, Hotel Echo. Kilo, Quebec 4, Foxtrot, Hotel Echo. W2, KJV. W2, KJV. November GBR. November 5, GBR.
KQ4UPK, I don't know if it's okay to make a recheck-in for a amateur-related question. I have something I wanted to ask Charles if he's still with us, but if not, that's okay, I understand.
All right, let's hold it up there. You're going to have to hold that question until next week. We've got a bunch of check-ins here we got to get to, but we appreciate it, but please stop next week. Let me tell you who I got here. I got N5, GBR, Gary, W2, KJV, Tony, KQ4 FHE BAT N5 LMB Les, KC9 PXZ James, KC5 CZX Daryl, KC1 JPD Jeffrey, KD6 CWI Ruben, and KA5 GSS. Let's go up to Shane. The question of the evening is, have you ever operated from a campground? Not so much a park, but a campground. Good evening, Shane.
Good afternoon, Scott, Vicky, everybody out there. First off, take me off the text check-in list. I did that earlier, and not sure it went through. I didn't see my name on the list. But anyway, to the question at hand, no, I have not. It is something that I plan on doing, and I just need to wait for Texas heat to let me get out there and not melt down. Hope everybody has a good afternoon. KA5 GSS back to net control 73.
All right, thank you, Shane, and your name is off the list now. KD6 CWI Ruben in Fallbrook, California. Good evening.
Good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for doing the net, first of all. As of the question on an actual campground, no, I haven't done that yet. The only outdoor activation that I've done is a Summits on the Air activation in Montserrat Mountain here locally, and Palomar Mountain Parks on the Air activation that I did. And I tried activating in Hawaii, but no cigar on 2 meters, 70 centimeter, and HF. That was during field day this year. And that's about it. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy life, and God bless everyone and their families. 73 KD6 CWI.
All right, thank you, Ruben. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of it. Let's go to KC1 JPD Jeffrey in Milton, Vermont. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott, Vicky, and everyone on the net. You can put me down for a big yes. I love taking my radios out to go camping with me with the camper, and it's great bringing in all of the people that are out there at the campground. They're always wondering, what the heck is that crazy guy doing with that equipment over there? And I welcome them in and introduce them to ham radio. So big yes for me. Love it. Hope everyone has a great night. KC1 JPD, back to net.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Have a good evening, and thanks for joining us. Daryl out in Lubbock, Texas, KC5CZX. Good evening, Daryl.
Well, good evening, Scott and the rest of the net. KC5CZX. No, I have never operated from a park or anywhere else. Just right here at my home QTH. So back to net, KC5CZX.
Hey, thank you, Daryl. Appreciate you joining us, and have a good night at work tonight. KC9 PXZ James at Huntsville, Alabama. Good evening.
Papa X-Ray Zulu. Good evening. Thanks for doing the net. Yeah, that is a big yes. I have done a lot of portable operations with a Kenwood 440S. They came out in the 70s. They were built for that. There's awards on OMIS, if you're familiar with that is, for activating parks and being parks and national parks are, throughout the area. So yes, I've done a lot of portable operations. I actually prefer portable UHF, CHF, and HF operation over sitting at my house. So, but yeah, I've made several, and I enjoy it very much. It's very easy, and thanks for the check-in, and thanks for doing that. KC9 PXC, back to net.
All right, James, have a good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Next up, N5 LMB, Les in Midland, Texas. Good evening.
Well, good evening to you and also the rest of the group here. You guys are sounding great. Yes, we have several times, HF, VHF, and UHF. Multiple times as far as that goes. But anyway, back to you. Appreciate the
Appreciate you running the net, and hello to everyone from West Texas. N5 LMB.
All right, thanks, Les. Appreciate you joining us tonight. This is W2BLT. Next up, K4 FHE, Pat, down in Harvest, Alabama. Good evening.
Scott, everybody else on the net. This is KQ4FHE. No, I've never operated from a campground. 73 to everybody. Back to you, Scott.
All right, Pat. Have a great evening. Next up, one of our team members down in Homosassa, Florida. W2KJV. Good evening, Tony. And have you ever operated from a campground?
Good evening, Scott. Good evening, Roger, Vicky, Dick, everyone on the TechNet tonight. Yes, I have operated from a campground, Scott. So hope everyone has a great night and a better tomorrow. Back to you, Scott. W2KJB.
Alrighty, thanks, Tony. You and Mary have a great evening. And last on this radio list for right now, N5 at GBR. Gary out in LaGrange, Texas. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott, and everyone on the net. The answer is no, and then the next part of the answer is I'm ashamed for not having doing it in 50 years as a ham, but it's on my list still. N5 GBR, back to the net.
That's okay. You don't operate from a campground. I don't hang wallpaper. Have a good evening, and thanks for joining us. That's going to do it for that list. Let's go back to Roger for some more text check-ins. It's W2BLT.
Thank you, Scott. You're making me feel like I'm lollygagging around. You just rip and roar through them call signs. All right, this is KO4QMM, Roger in Central Florida. We're going to move on to the text check-ins here. From the bottom up, we got KI5PMI, Bill, Hobbs, New Mexico. K2CMT, Mike, my neighbor, DeBerry, Florida. K6AAN, Mike, Valley Springs, California. KR4EPM, Robert, Madison, Alabama. KK7OGC, Fred, Reno, Nevada. WOSVH, Sean Anderson, Texas. KD3ATQ, Jim, Easton, Pennsylvania. KF4ACB, Terry, Harrigot, Tennessee. N7WZI, Allen, Oregon. K5HLH, Harry, Grants, New Mexico. Good evening, Harry, and have you ever operated from a campground? Over.
Roger, this is K5HLH. Years ago with one of my owners who's a Silent Key, we operated from one of the local national parks here in the area that had a big lava flow in it. He did that on a regular basis every year. So at one time with Silent Key Elmer, and other than that, no. K5HLH.
Have a wonderful evening. Wait, that was Harry. Have a good evening, Harry. Sorry about that. Let's move on to Alan, Lubbock, Texas, or Oregon, I think you are now. N7WZI. Good evening, Alan, wherever you're at.
Yep, you were right the first time, Oregon. I'm in Portland, actually. And no, I have not communicated the park or a campground. Just wasn't in the cards for me. N7WZI.
Move on to Terry, Harrogate, Tennessee. KF4ACB. Good evening, Terry.
I got my mouth full of enchilada. It's burning my mouth. Good evening to everyone on the net. KF4ACB here in Harrogate, Tennessee. Yeah, I have operated from campgrounds before. I live right across this road here from the Cumberland Gap National Historical Park, and they have a rather large campground. I've operated from in there several times, and our local club has done field day in that situation. And there's also an overlook here in the park where you can take an HT and talk all over the place. It's about 3,000 feet high. So definitely parks and campgrounds have been part of my ham radio lore for the last 30 years.
Alright, thanks for joining us, Terry. Sound like you're almost getting ready to cry there with that enchilada burning you up there. Your sinuses are going to be clear. Have a good evening. Let's move on to Jim, Easton, PA, KD3ATQ. Good evening, Jim, and have you ever operated from a campground?
Good evening, Roger, Vicky, and that, no, I have not operated from a campground, and I'm going to say yet because I'm sure it's going to happen. Back to net control, KD3ATQ.
Yeah, that's something I need to get off my list real soon there. So next time they ask this question, I can say yes. So thanks for joining us. Have a great evening, Jim. Let's move on to Sean, Anderson, Texas, WOSVH. Good evening, Sean.
Yeah, good. Roger and everybody on the net. This is W0SBH.
Well, Sean, have you ever operated from a campground? Over.
Well, if you're talking about camping in the backyard, I would have to say yes. But other than that, no, I have not set up station in a campground yet and do the poder or anything like that. It's on my work list to do. Back to you, W0SBH.
Put her on the to-do list. You have a good evening there, Sean. This is Roger, KO4QMM. Let's move on to Fred, Madison, Alabama, or Reno, Nevada, KK7OGC. Good evening, Fred.
Good evening, Roger, Vicky, and everyone on the net. Absolutely. I always have at least handhelds in my car, and whenever we go on camping trips, I'll take my mobile radio and my 12-volt, 100-amp lithium iron phosphate battery with me with a discount antenna, and yeah, it's fun to play. Thank you again, KK7OGC, back to net.
Sounds like you got a nice to-go kit set up there, Fred. You have a good evening. Thanks for joining us. Let's move on to Robert, Madison, Alabama, KR4EPM. Good evening, Robert. Have you ever operated from a campground?
The negatives, Roger. I'm fairly new to ham, but hope putting that on my checklist. KR4EPM out.
So much to look forward to, Robert. Enjoy, take your time, and have fun. KR4EPM. Let's move on to Mike, Valley Springs, California, K6AAN. Good evening, Mike. K6AAN. You still with us, Mike? He might have to go get a pizza at the front door or something. And let's move on to my buddy Mike, the Barry, Florida, K2CMT. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Roger, and the rest of the net. No, I've never operated out of a campground. I lived in one for 5 years, but I didn't get into ham radio until I'd moved out. Everyone have a great evening in 73, K2CMT.
He's one of our retired facilitators. Let's move on to another facilitator, Bill. Mexico. Or no, that ain't, he ain't a facilitator. Good evening, Bill. KI5PMI from Hobbs, New Mexico.
Good evening, Roger. Thanks for the accolades. I don't think I'm near strong enough to be a facilitator yet, so but that's pretty funny. No, I have not operated from a park. Hope everybody has a good evening. KI5PMI. Back to net.
I almost had you doing some net controlling there, Bill. Thanks for joining us this evening. You have a good evening. That's it. I did another 10 texts. This is KO4QMM, Roger in Central Florida. Back to you, Scott, W2BLT.
All right, thank you, Roger. All right, let's take some more radio check-ins. Those of you who'd like to check in, please come with your call sign twice and slowly.
Kilo Echo 2, Charlie, Charlie, Kilo. Kilo Echo 2, Charlie, Charlie, Kilo.
A4 Fox X-ray, Charlie, Sierra, Sierra, KE4 VMU. Victor Echo 3, Sierra, Sierra Romeo.
9Y4DX. 9 Yankee 4 Delta X-ray.
Kilo 4, Bravo November Tango. Victor Kilo 4, Bravo November Tango.
Kilo 2 Delta Yankee, Victor Kilo 2 Delta Yankee. Kilo Charlie 7, India Uniform Papa. Kilo Charlie 7, India Uniform Papa.
KJ5 LXI, KJ5 LXI.
Alrighty, let's hold it up there. Let me tell you who I got, and I want to check on a couple. We had KJ5 LXI Richard in College Station, Texas. We had KC7 IUP Rod in Ely, Nevada. We had VK4 BNT Brent in Australia. We had 9Y4 DX Bertrand in Trinidad and Tobago. And we had VE3SSR Eugene K4 FXC David. We had a KE2 CCK. We had VK2DY, but I'm sorry, Robert, you're not getting in there. You texted in twice. You've done it 2 weeks in a row. You sit for a week. We had a station that started with KF4. Could you come back with your call sign?
Yes, it's Kilo Foxtrot 4, Oscar Uniform Papa. KF4 OUP. Byron.
Alrighty, we got you, Byron. And there was one other one there, ended in VMU. It was a 4 station. Could you come back again, please?
Yes, that was KE4 VMU.
Okay, I got that. A KE4 VMU. We'll come back to you in just a moment, Joe. Let's go to the top of this list. I think we got everybody. Let's go to Matt in Frankfort, New York, KE2CCK. The question of the evening is, have you ever operated from a campground?
Good evening. Yes, I have. I operated this year at a campground in Cortland, New York. And, well, actually, it's technically, I believe, McGraw. But, yeah, I did 15 meters, 20 meters, and 40 for a field day. This is KE2CCK, back to net.
All right, thank you, Matt. You have yourself a great day, and thanks for joining us. Well, great evening. KF4OUP, Byron down in Cape Coral, Florida. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Yes, I have, but way long time ago, about 8 years ago with the REACT team. We gone out and we set up our tables and camp out and did some signal checks and everything. Back to that, KF4OUP.
Alrighty, thanks, Byron. Appreciate you stopping by tonight. Let's go to one of our team members, David, K4FXD in Wilmington, North Carolina. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening again, everybody. K4FXC, beautiful evening down here. And I want to say, yeah, I have operated from a campground, but it has been a while. Time to do some more activities in the field like that. It's been a lot of years since I have done much of that, K4FXC.
Thank you, David. Yeah, we camped for probably about a little over 30 years, and a few years ago decided it was time to let somebody else have the campsite. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining us. Let's go to VE3 SSR Eugene up in Thornhill, Ontario, Canada. Good evening. VE3 SSR, are you still with me, Eugene? Well, with nothing heard, let's move on to KE4 VMU Joe in Southwest Ranches, Florida. Good evening. Looks like this is your first time on the TechNet. Welcome.
Yes, and the answer is yes. Actually, I'm in a campground right now in St. Augustine, Florida, talking to y'all. Thank you for what you do. Y'all have a great night.
Well, thanks for joining us, and that's the way to answer the question. Be at a campground. Love it. Have a great evening. Let's go to Bertrand, 9Y4DX, who's usually in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not sure if he's back yet or if he's still down in, I don't know, New Jersey. Good evening, Bertrand.
Well, good evening to you, Net Control. W2BLT Scott, Y4DX Bertrand, and I am still in the United States, New Jersey. Just a few more days and I'll be heading back down to Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Well, let me extend a pleasant evening as well to all of the stations. Hope everyone is doing well and safe. With respect to the question, Scott, no. My answer is no, I have not been at a campsite in any way, to do any kind of radio work. That's from me. Back to you, Net Control. W2BLT. This is 9Y4.
Well, thanks for joining us, Bertrand, and thank you for coming up here for a few weeks and contributing to our fund up here. Appreciate you joining us. Let's go to KC7 IUP, Rod in Ely, Nevada. Good evening.
Good evening, and good evening to the net. Yes, I have. Every year we go to a amusement park center, I guess. Rent a campground in my trailer. My camp trailer is an HF rig and a dual van, so we do it all the time. And just for information, it's Ely, Nevada. But thank you for having the net, and everybody have a good evening. KC7 IUP.
All right, thanks for joining us, Rod. Appreciate it. And last one of the radio check-ins for me, KJ5, LXI, Richard, in College Station, Texas. Looks like you're new to the system. Welcome.
Yes, I'm new to the system, new to ham radio just a few months ago. I have not had the opportunity to work in a park yet, but maybe I will sometime. KJ5 LXI, back to net.
Alrighty, thank you, Richard. Appreciate you joining us. And don't be a stranger. And if you make your email public on QRZ, we'll get you out a welcome letter pretty quickly. And you have yourself a great evening. Alrighty, that's going to do it for me. We're going to give it back to Roger here for the rest of the text check-ins. And when he's done, the text line will be closed. Okay, this is W2BLT. Go ahead, Raj.
QSL, well said, my friend. This is KO4QMM. We're going to wrap up the rest of the text check-ins. Looks like about 7 of them. We'll start from the bottom up there. KC10AB, Robert, Auburn, Massachusetts. W2CJM, Charles, Selden, New York. VK4BNT, Brent, Australia. And KO4, Joe Sorrento. And VK2DY, Robert Kelly, Ville Ridge, New South Wales, Australia. And that's where we're going now. To you, Robert. Have you ever operated from a campground? Good evening. VK2D, Robert, you there? Alright, nothing heard. Usually hear from Robert. Let's move on to my buddy Joe in Sorrento, Florida, KO4FRR. I could probably answer this one for him. Have you ever operated from a campground, my friend?
Good evening, Roger. This is Joe, KO4FRR. You gotta be kidding me. The answer would be no. Haven't camped since I was a kid. Probably won't do it. It's too hot, too many bugs, and so forth. And I just got my got the license like 2020, so probably won't be doing any more camping soon. This is Joe, KO4FR. Back to you, Roger.
Yeah, I kind of knew that, but I was thinking that you were hanging out with Chuck up there in New York, Pennsylvania area, and I thought you guys did, but that wasn't a campground. That was overnight, I think, a field operation or something. All right, Joe, thanks for joining us. And let's move on to Charles, Selden, New York, W2CJM. Good evening, Charles, and have you ever operated from a campground? Are you there, Charles, from Selden, New York, W2CJM? Well, my last batch of Texans are just bailing on me. Let's go back and see if Brent's there from Australia. VK4BNT, you there, Brent?
Yeah, VK4BNT here. Yes, I've operated from a campground. Only been licensed for a couple of months, but I was a four-wheel drive and camping enthusiast before being licensed. So I've really enjoyed my time with POTA, doing POTA activations. I don't have my own HF gear yet, but I've been playing second operator with a friend, and yeah, got a few activations under my belt now. But yeah, I wasn't aware of this net. It popped up for about 15 minutes on a local hub before getting dropped, and then I had to find the source so I could rejoin. But yeah, thanks for the check-in. Back to net control. This is VK4BNT.
Well, thank you for coming back to me there, Brent, and have a great evening, or a great day. You're in the daytime there. Let's move on to Charles. Oh, we already just tried that. You want to try again, Charles? Are you there? W2CJM. Alright, we're going to move to Robert, Auburn, Massachusetts, KC1OAB. Robert, have you ever operated from a campground? Oh, my last texter can't leave me hanging. Come on, Robert, you there? Well, son of a gun, Scott. That's about it for the text check-ins. I had a lot of fun tonight. I like this new platform, and maybe we'll trade next Tuesday. All right, I'm going to hand it back to Scott. This is KO4QMM, Roger in Central Florida. He'll put a nice little bow on it and finish her up. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. 7-3. Back to you, Scott.
Alrighty, thank you, Roger. Fine job there. Alrighty, folks, like I said before, the check-in line is now closed. The rest of our check-ins are going to be radio check-ins. So those of you who would like to get in and join us, please come with your call sign twice and slowly.
Kilo Mike 7 Charlie Bravo India. Kilo Charlie Bravo India.
Evening, Scott. KE7K. KE7K.
All right, let me recognize KE7K, Kevin, KM7, CBI, Michael, and we had a W4 station. You were kind of noisier coming out of Fort Lauderdale. Could you try that again, please, with your call sign twice?
KC4 Alpha Juliet, W4CJM.
I got it. Boy, that last letter. What's the last letter in your call?
Top letter is Kilo K.
Alrighty, we got you, Skip. Anyone else looking to join us? Last call for the TechNet. Please come with your call sign twice.
KO4CLD, KO4
CLD.
Alrighty, recognizing Micah, KO4CLD. Let's go to the top of this list and run them. The question of the evening for everybody is, have you ever operated from a campground? Let's go to W4AJK, Skip, down in Plantation, Florida. Good evening.
No, I have never operated from a campground, but I have a feeling I will be so excited to be doing that before you leave back to that.
Alrighty, thank you, Skip. No, it is. Have a great evening. Let's go to KM7, CBI. I believe it's Michael in Portland, Oregon. Good evening.
Operated out of FRS radios maybe about 12 years ago when I was with my family. Recently got my ham license and actually heading my first meeting. And all of the POTA stuff that I've been looking into was really interesting. So I'm excited to hopefully back to you, KM7 CBI.
Alrighty, thank you. Appreciate you joining us and have a great evening. Next up, one of our team members, Kevin, KE7K, also in Portland, Oregon, where I watched, I believe it was an Indy race this week. Good evening, Kevin.
Yeah, good evening, Scott. I don't know if there was a race this weekend, but if you were watching it, I'm sure you got it right. I remember a NASCAR race a couple years ago that we went and checked out. Anyway, the answer to the question is yes, I have checked in from a campground. It wasn't a POTA activation, though, so I don't have one of those under my belt. Thanks for running the net, KE7K.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you stopping by tonight. And last one on this list, KO4CLD, Micah down in Tuscumbia, Alabama. Good evening, Micah.
Good evening. The answer is yes. And it was a POTA park. It was Mount St. O in Huntsville. And it was about 2 years ago during the Huntsville Ham Fest. And somebody gave me a fiberglass a 34-foot mast that I set up off the back of my hitch on my truck, and did an off-centered dipole, and it was pretty good. I had height and everything. Yep, really enjoyed it. Thank you for the net, and I really love this check-in process. KO4CLD. Back to you, Scott.
Alrighty, Micah, I just want to clarify one thing. That was a campground, correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It's the campground up there on Mount St. Elm, and they do tent camping and RV camping. So, yep, definitely a campground.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for wrapping it up tonight. And on behalf of Dick, WB2JPQ, Vicky on the log tonight, KE8DKY, my buddy Roger, KO4QMM down in Umatilla, Florida. This is Scott, W2BLT, wishing everybody a great evening, and we'll see you next week. 7-3, everyone.